Let's start with the start. What brought you to law?
I do have this strong sense of wanting to contribute, to provide solutions.
Anubha, you started your career with law firms and you spent a substantial time in law firms. So what brought you to in-house after that?
So there's multiple stuff that you learn, and somehow the trajectory was such that in all these firms, I was never specializing in anything.
Legal environment is changing very rapidly, irrespective of the sectors. It's very important to stay abreast.
I feel that it is actually very important to have an ecosystem around you.
What brought you to art?
I think we all are looking for some form of purpose or meaning in life, something that is more than what's regular. If someone were to ask me, how did you write a book or how did you paint? Write it or you just paint. There is no other thing to it really.
You're on the creativity side. What kills creativity?
It's actually contradictory.
Can you please elaborate more? I'm not clear.
Why podcast?
I mean, trying new things, getting out of my comfort zone. I like that. What advice would you like to give to young and budding lawyers? Hi, and welcome to another episode of Legit Talk with Lovejeet. Today, I have a guest who wears multiple hats. She's a lawyer, a self-taught artist, and a writer. I must say that she's more than a lawyer. She has worked with various law firms in the space of public policy and transactions, and is now working as a Managing Counsel International for United Airlines. I would like to welcome Anubha on Legit Talk with Lovejeet. Hi Anubha, welcome to the show.
Hi Lovejeet, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's likewise, it's a pleasure to have you here. Anubha, I know you're a very good lawyer, but let's start with the start. What brought you to law?
Well, growing up, I had no idea of what I wanted to do. And it was more like there wasn't really a certainty on this is what I want. And at the time, Chartered Accountants and Company Secretary was a course in the offing. And I knew that I'm really bad at numbers, and accounts and statistics is something I will not be able to handle. That's how I chose Company Secretary. And since I was studying law, which is, as you know, Company Secretary has a lot of subjects in law, that kind of led me to join law as well. So I would say that there was no real focus or strategy around it. I just stumbled upon it, and that's how it happened. But I mean, later I did realize that this is something that was kind of meant to be, because it does attune a lot to how I am as a person. I do have this strong sense of wanting to contribute, to provide solutions. And that is something that I love doing. And therefore, yes, it's the profession in which I am.
And probably, as far as I know, good negotiation skills, which are required for a lawyer.
Yeah, I think they are required on an everyday basis. You negotiate with everybody in your life in some way or the other.
Okay. So, Anubha, you started your career with law firms and you have spent a substantial time in law firms. So, what brought you to in-house after that?
Actually, I've been working with law firms for a while, and I chose to be in law firms also because I felt that there will be a lot of, there are a number of clients you work for. So there are various industries. There's food, there's shipping, there's clothes, there's, FMCG, there is pharmaceutical. So there's multiple stuff that you learn. And somehow the trajectory was such that in all these firms, I was never specializing in anything. So my resume kind of built on someone who's a jack of all trades. So it sort of fit the bill also for in-house. And then at the time when, and it had been a while, it had been a few years, it had been some 16, 17. I mean, it's a long period of time that you've spent in firms. And I thought that it will be nice to understand how it is to be on the other side of the law. I mean, to just understand how does business work? How does that function? Because when you see it from that perspective, there's a different input you can give versus being an outside consultant. So, and that is what I'm experiencing now. And I love traveling a lot. And when aviation happened, it just felt like home.
And so you were doing, say shipping or food and all that. So in addition, you also thought, let me, see what's happening in the aviation world.
In the flying world.
And by the way, that's something common between us also, because
I agree.
As
that's
you know,
an area that you love and are very passionate about.
So I guess we both are, passionate about aviation.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's there. So, and like legal environment is changing very rapidly, irrespective of the sectors. It's very important to stay abreast. So how do you stay abreast, and what is the relevance of your networking circle while doing this in-house role?
See, I'll be very honest, with the kind of work you do, it is very difficult to always stay updated with new laws. And, whenever you get time, okay, let me study this. That kind of motivation really doesn't come. At least it doesn't come to me. So what I do is that I give myself a very tangible task. Like, for example, I would write articles on legal subjects, which could be data privacy, artificial intelligence, sustainability. These are topics I've written about. And in the process of doing so, you end up researching and learning on newer laws, which eventually does help you in the work that you're doing in your office. On the second part of your question on networking, I mean, it has helped me a lot. I feel that it is actually very important to have an ecosystem around you. You have peers and friends who kind of, you need them for even as a sounding board when you are in situations which are difficult and there is no, and as you know, in law, there isn't really always a black and white answer.
Yeah.
So that is the time when you do need those people around you to kind of interact with. And I would say this to a lot of upcoming lawyers also, that it's good to start from the very beginning, because I feel what really benefits you is long-term associations.
Yeah.
So
I think I completely agree. You need a network where people are just a call away.
Yeah.
That what position have you taken where there's a gray area?
Yeah.
And accordingly,
No, we are a long-term association. Yeah.
So that's true. Okay. So as I know, you are not just a lawyer. You are more than a lawyer. You are an artist, and you are an author. I'll come to your author side later. What brought you to art?
Well, I think I've had my own share of life's ups and downs, like we all do. And there's a time when you are looking for something that is more than the mundane. I think we all are looking for some form of purpose or meaning in life, something that is more than what's regular, and you end up introspecting a lot. And I feel everybody has their own space in terms of what is soul satisfying for them. And what helped me was the outlet for me was a lot of creative pursuits, which is painting, writing, poetry. And sort of, I would also say, I have kind of an adventurous spirit where it is very difficult to not be doing a lot of things. And as far as trying it is concerned, I mean, it's certainly better than saying later that, time ऐसे चला गया, काश ये कर लेते, तब कर लिया होता. So I think it's, I just don't want to say that. So, काश से अच्छा है कि कर लेते हैं.
But Anubha, that's a very good thing, as you said, that after seeing the ups and downs in life, because see what happens at at times people lose track, people get demotivated, they get depressed. So that's a very good thing that you have done, in my view, that you have chosen a different path. You have chosen a thing like art, which keeps you motivated, which keeps you centered, keeps you calm.
Yeah.
And of course, positive and all that. So yeah, that's a very good thing. So to what extent, I would like to know that where art has taken you. I mean, I believe you're also doing, now exhibitions, paintings. You're a big artist now. So I would like to, know more about that.
Firstly, I'm not a big artist. Nobody's a big artist. I think we just keep doing things and they keep happening. And if they lead to something, it's great. If not, you would have at least made an attempt. Yes, I have done about 3 solo exhibitions now in Delhi. And I have displayed and showcased my work in Mumbai and Bangalore as well. I have sold quite a few pieces both in India and abroad.
Oh, that's amazing.
And yes, so it has been very encouraging and a lot of support from a lot of people around me, which has been really, really humbling actually. And as far as the book is concerned, well, there is something I've written. I don't know how it's going to be taken, but it's written both in prose and poetry, and it's bilingual. It has both English and Hindi in terms of language, in the way it's written. And it is just something that's made up of a lot of tiny stories. I do feel that we are basically not made of atoms and particles, but we are made of small, tiny stories, and that is how we connect with each other. So I hope that people are able to connect to it. It's an easy read. and you can read it with your family over a chai or coffee. So I hope people enjoy it.
And when are we expecting the book? When can I get a copy?
I am aiming the end of July.
Oh, that's not too far then.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to, as soon as it's released.
I hope I come through.
I'll be the first buyer.
Sweet of you.
Yeah. So, okay, as you said that, you keep on doing new things, and I guess we want to do something new or the other every other day. So, in addition to art and poetry and, books, is anything new on the radar? Are you trying to do something else as well?
Theater is a new foray,
Oh,
but
wow.
it's very new to talk about. I've joined a group. I'm looking forward to rehearsals and I'm looking forward to the first show. So I'm insanely anxious and excited about it. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I understand initially the person is anxious when you're trying something new,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you will overcome it soon because as far as
Yeah.
I know you will,
It's a mixed bag of emotion, actually.
No, I'm sure it's going to be fine. And so then probably I have to buy a copy of your book. Then I have to come to your show as well. Then soon
100% you have to.
I have to book, my calendar with so many things for Anubha.
Much needed. Maybe it inspires you and then we are just together doing something there.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so what pointers do you have for our audience to stay motivated? Because as I can see that you are, highly motivated person. What kind of advice would you like to give to people to follow their passion?
Look, I wouldn't say it's very easy. It is tough because yes, we do have a lot on our plate and we are juggling with a lot of things in life. But I feel that you should just give it a try. Just shoot in the dark. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. At the end of the day, there's nothing you will really lose is all I feel. And how do you do it? I mean, if someone were to ask me, how did you write a book or how did you paint? You just write it.
Correct.
Or you just paint. There is no other thing to it, really. In fact, recently I've started reading a book. It's called The War of Art. It's by Stephen Pressfield. And anyone who's struggling with, how to get to their passion, it's a great book to read. I would recommend. There is one line that actually blew me away in that book, and that says, the difficulty is not in writing the book. The difficulty is pulling out your chair and sitting in front of the laptop or the screen to write it. So the resistance we feel actually is in the first step that we have to take. And that is the thing with everything. So I feel what we really need to do is probably think less and do more.
Do more.
And otherwise things time just goes by. And there isn't, I mean, there's a certain uncertainty and adrenaline to the first thing you do, like your first run, your first marathon, your first workout, your first book, or things like that. I feel you should hold on to them because there are only so many firsts and they don't come by easily.
Yeah. I think you rightly said, and I think another thing could be overcome your fear because, when we are starting something new, the first question in our head is, yaar, mere se pata nahi hoga ya nahi hoga.
Plus, fear of being judged.
Yeah.
Log kya kahenge? What if I, present myself in a manner which is judged by people, or I'm not good enough, and things like that. So it's uncertainty, self-doubt, all of it that creeps in. And be okay with that, like be comfortable with the discomfort.
I think if we accept this fact, ki yaar nahi bhi hoga, then it's fine. It's not the end of the road.
Yeah.
So probably that's where then you can, probably make a decision and do something.
Yeah. No,
Anyways,
absolutely.
that's
it's all, though I'm saying this, but I do feel it's all easier said than done.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, keep trying. Have people around you who are supportive. Sometimes, there's this one friend of mine who just messages me, hi Picasso, when is the next painting? Sometimes, you just have people who kind of push you towards something which keeps you going, especially when you've done some work and they know you and you're losing track. That's how you can kind of come back because you're like, now there is a certain expectation and that pulls you.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Okay, so can I put you in a slightly tight spot? Can we do a quick rapid fire with you?
Sounds like fun.
Okay. So what does it take to be creative?
I think, energy. Because I feel if you waste your energy on other things, then you will not have it for creativity.
Mm-hmm. And how do you get time because you're doing so many things?
Parkinson's law. Work gets done in the time that's available.
And how do you stay on track?
That's a tough one. I'm struggling with that all the time. I'll make that a longer answer. Though you can have a logbook and you can set a deadline, but I realized it with my book as well. I finished writing it in September, Lovejeet. Now imagine from September to today, I still haven't published it because there wasn't a set deadline to it. So I feel that is one thing that does help. I mean, yeah, but this is something you discover about yourself, that what is it that kind of keeps you motivated.
Yeah. And since you're on the creativity side, what kills creativity?
Thinking that I have all the time in the world. I think creativity really thrives in constraint. It's actually contradictory.
Can you please elaborate more? I'm not clear.
It's like, okay, so what have we heard about creativity? कि मन करेगा तब करेंगे, मूड करेगा तब कुछ बनाएंगे या करेंगे, अभी मन नहीं है. Yeah, or creativity, we always talk about it should go with the flow, it should be free flowing. Now imagine I put you in a store and there are lots of options in front of you. It might happen that you don't pick anything and you walk out because you're so confused with so many options.
Yeah.
So all I'm trying to say is if there is too much available, if it's a lot of free flowing, then there is no restriction or restraint to it and no tangible output is going to come out of it. So it does work better when there's structure. And then there is an actual output that comes. Otherwise, तो होता ही रहेगा और कभी नहीं होगा.
So limit the options, structure it, and then move ahead.
Yes.
I'll keep this in mind. And so Anubha, what has changed in your life after being an artist? Because art is something which is, it probably changes the perspective.
Yeah, exactly like you said. It has changed perspective. Your journey becomes more inward. You're not so troubled by outside noise. You have a sense of direction and you kind of move towards it. It also makes you a bit more resilient towards life because, things are uncertain.
Yeah.
Something or the other will keep happening. So it just gives you something that's your own to hold on to. So I do feel it helps a lot in many ways. And also I think that there has to be this, like everyone can have different things. It doesn't have to be writing or painting or whatever. It could be as much as just, I could pick up anything. I could pick up swimming, I could pick up a sport, I could do anything, which basically becomes my thing
which is your area of interest.
Yeah, my thing kind of to go to. And even otherwise, I feel it's a great hack to stay out of trouble. Just stay busy. Then you're out of trouble in life and there is less, you yourself reduce problems. So yeah, I think it has made me, I think life also teaches you, like art teaches you a lot because it tells you a lot about yourself. So it's sort of a learning and growing process that happens. And I think eventually all of us are doing everything we are so that we can get a good night's sleep, which is paramount, I feel.
Yeah, true. So Anubha, like there's a lot of buzz about AI, that AI is interrupting the world, it's interrupting everything. So I would like to know your views about the disruption or maybe, the threat, whatever you want to call it, of AI in the legal profession. And also I would like to understand from you threat of AI on the art side because you're an artist.
You're right, there's a lot of debate about it. There are lots of topics around artificial intelligence at the moment, and therefore there is no fixed answer to anything. I do feel that, whenever there is any kind of technological change that comes about, it does make certain things redundant, which it is bound to.
Yeah.
And that will happen. The only thing is, I feel that human emotion and human capability to contribute or apply human values in human mind, that stays. Apart from that, if it is used as a tool that assists and helps, it's great because it does make things much faster. It is a fast-paced world. Everyone is looking for an answer like yesterday. So it does help you in terms of doing a lot of mundane tasks faster and is a great assistant to lawyers in terms of the research and work that they're doing. In in the space of an artist, I feel it's the same thing which I said for lawyers, for law as well. But I also feel that okay, so there is a certain sense of fear that comes when you sit in front of a blank paper as a writer or in front of a blank canvas as an artist, and it leads you to face that fear and to introspect. Now, what happens if I just have a tool and I just type in and I get the answer? Will I continue to emphasize on the logical thinking? Will I really put that much effort into it or not? I just fear that, I just hope people still create from their heart, and a lot of that feeling part doesn't get diluted because you have a platform where you can, just type a few words and poetry is right in front of you. I mean, then what is it that you're going to really write from your heart? So I just don't want that to happen. I mean, it's too soon to say what's going to be the future, but that's an area where I feel that it's important to keep your, keep your mind working and to introspect and do things.
No, but yeah, see, I agree, Anubha, and as you rightly said, that mundane tasks can be taken care of. And of course, in terms of legal, there is a legal strategy which AI cannot replace. In terms of art, like you being an artist, when you are sitting with a blank canvas with thoughts in your head and heart, and you want to, put that on the canvas, I don't think AI can in any case, replace.
Yeah, but it's
such
growing at
thought.
a very fast pace, Lovejeet. You really don't know that you put in certain keywords and then you have an image in front of you based on those keywords. There is a lot that's happening. I mean, I can't say that that is exactly what's going to happen, but I have my own sense of whether, I mean, and a lot in the space of writing also. I have my own sense of apprehension there. I hope that's not the case. I would still do things the way I do. I'm not, but then I'm just in general talking about it, that things are moving to, you don't want to sit and think so much. You just want to type and get the answer and get going.
Yeah.
So it's great in the profession, but, when we deliver speeches, we think about what we have to say. Versus I just type that I have to give a speech and the speech is right in front of me. All I'm trying to say is, yes, it is great in terms of saving time, but does it take away from the effort you make when you think something? Because when you think and write something or say something, there's a lot of feeling attached to it, and it's not just words which have been picked from data that's been input.
True. That's right. So
I think there is a thought I have before we move forward, and if that's okay with you.
okay, what's the thought?
How about
I can see on your face that there is something,
How about we reverse roles and I take the hot seat?
So, Anubha, that was not planned, But okay, I'm okay with that. But you have to promise that you will ask me simple questions.
Simple questions it is. No grilling.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, over to you.
All right. So first of all, since I have always known you as a lawyer, what led you to get into this? Why podcast?
Okay. So as you said that, you should try something new, and I don't want to say kash after a few years, ki main kar leta. So that's one of the reasons. And of course, I mean, trying new things, getting out of my comfort zone, I like that.
And where do you find the time for it?
Time comes from passion. When you're passionate for something, I think time is automatically managed.
You make time.
You make time.
Yeah. And since this is something I wonder a lot, and I do at times go off course on this, how do you keep track and stay on track?
I think it's more of curiosity. It's more of, to be better than yesterday.
Mhm.
And honestly, I don't have any competition with anyone else other than myself. I want to be better each day. That keeps me going.
That's perfect, actually, because I do hear this a lot, and it's true that you are your biggest enemy. The only thing between you and what you want to achieve is actually you. So if you
That's true.
cross that, it's the best
Yes.
hurdle to have crossed.
Yes.
All right. And anything that keeps you, like in the sense, we all know that you're an amazing lawyer, but what is it that you're more passionate or passionate about apart from being a lawyer?
Uh, I think I'm more passionate about fitness, and then also in fitness trying new things.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, I keep on doing different things. At times I go to gym, at times I'm into yoga. Now I'm learning tennis. So yeah, so that keeps you motivated, and you keep on doing different things. The idea is to do different things in my life. That's the plan.
That resonates.
That resonates. Yes, you're right.
And a book that you are reading currently?
So lately, in fact, I have picked up interest in different kind of books. So like otherwise on the commercial side, on the legal side, I keep on reading books. Like I've recently completed book on that, Sky High Indigo by Tarun Shukla.
Okay.
But now I'm reading books which are slightly different. Like I have read a book, Life After Death, or I have read Joe Dispenza's book on what is called becoming supernatural.
Okay.
It's again like you were saying, that discovering yourself, your own passions and things like that. So yeah, I'm enjoying such reads these days.
Good to know.
Yeah. So I think now, Anubha, let's go back to you because
okay. Do I continue to be in the hot seat?
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So because the show is today focused on you, maybe some other day we will do this reversal in detail.
Sure.
So coming back to you, Anubha, what advice would you like to give to young and budding lawyers?
I think the world belongs to the youth. It is, it's an era of. In fact, when I say that, it reminds me. Now, when I think back, I understand why our parents used to say, "Ki abhi to, you're young and kar lo. There is so much you can do. You have the whole world in front of you." It does. Things do change with time, and it is great to optimize the time you have as a young lawyer. And lawyers today will be coming in an era of digitization.
Yeah.
There is so much happening in the digital world. Therefore, I do feel that it is important for them to not only take what is good from there, but not lose out on brainstorming sessions or meeting people in person and talking, because everything is getting more and more. I mean, I won't say that is the only thing. Things are getting a bit more isolated because you're more with yourself. When everything is available on your laptop or your computer, you're spending less time with in-person interactions and more time with yourself. And which really helps. If you are brainstorming in a room, you have different viewpoints, you get to know a lot. Even in terms of, soft skills cannot go away. We cannot undermine the importance of soft skills. And in fact, I forgot to mention earlier, there is this podcast I was watching of Jeffrey Hinton. He is known as popularly as the godfather of AI. That is a great watch, and for anyone who would like to understand that space more, where he talks about both how good it is and the kind of existential threats that come with it, which also we need to identify. So yes, so that is something I would certainly say, that be open to making mistakes. It doesn't have to be pitch perfect. I think what technology does is it makes everything really perfect. But even as human beings, if you realize, the best kind of friendships are when there is imperfection.
That's true. And so I think, maybe I could add that rely on AI, but smartly.
For sure.
Not completely.
For sure.
Okay. So any advice which generally you would like to give to people?
I don't know. I feel that, okay, there are some things we keep hearing. There is one line, if you would have heard it a lot, and I'm sure everyone's heard it a lot, that it's change is difficult and you have to accept change.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that you should not only accept change, you should actively look for change. Make small changes.
Yeah.
Be a little more adventurous. Be open to the fact that you're going into an area which is not your comfort zone, where you're
Correct.
scared. Like, it's all right. Just be scared. Like, feel that feeling of not knowing.
Yeah.
And you will realize that life is not just a circle. It's actually rectangular, square, and everything more. It's a lot more. Like, talk to strangers. Do things that you wouldn't normally do. And there's another thing we keep hearing, in fact, is that we are doing the best we can in the circumstances we have. I hear that from a lot of people. And it's true, we are all a product of our circumstances. But then, what are those circumstances? Those circumstances are actually made up of you.
Yeah.
You have a lot more agency over those circumstances than you think you do. But what will happen is, if you have to accept agency, you will have to accept responsibility. And it's easier to blame something on the outside than to accept responsibility. So today, I have a choice and I have the freedom to stop scrolling and browsing and to just sit down and write a few paragraphs. That's maybe create something beautiful.
That's true. No, you rightly said. So I think the moral of the story is that come out of your comfort zone, put your fears aside, and move ahead. Show some creativity. Okay, thank you, Anubha. Thank you for this conversation. Yeah, and I think there are a lot of takeaways for me and for everyone listening to this podcast. That just do things, stay away from your fears, stop chatter of your mind, and think less, do more.
Think less, do more, for sure.
That's a tagline. Think less, do more. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Lovejeet. It was a pleasure to be here.
Likewise. And thank you to our viewers for watching this episode. Please feel free to leave your comments or write to us at legittalkwithlovejeet@gmail.com. Thank you.